Welcome back, Truth Seeker. If you missed this morning's video, too bad, because it came true. We talked about why the Niners should win and make home teams 11-5 and what it has to do with the upcoming election on November 5th, because I've been here for over a decade telling you how pro sports are rigged. So are the elections. So is the news, how it's all connected. And I want you to see just how sick of a joke it is with the Niners winning by 13. I thought they were going to win by 12, which would have made a lot of sense, but I totally get why they won by 13. And it's a big pattern that I've been talking about with that lady from the Bay, Kamala. You guys, by the Niners winning by 13, they became plus 123 in points scored versus the Jets all time. Plus 123, and they're now 12-3 versus the Jets all time. And in the code of letters to numbers, Kamala equals 123. And we've been talking about this with Kamala. Again, when Chuck Schumer endorsed her, it was 123 days after Chuck Schumer's birthday. He's the leader of the Senate of the Democrats, if you're not aware of that. Willie Brown. Again, when Willie Brown was 60 years old, Kamala was in her 20s. That's when she started dating him, and she climbed the political ladder by dating, the mayor of San Francisco. When Joe Biden passed the torch to Kamala on July 21st, that was 123 days after Willie Brown's birthday. And then Beyonce gave her the song Freedom to use. Again, the only part of that word freedom that matters is the dumb part at the end. Seriously, because we're not free, guys, but a lot of people here are very dumb. Freedom even has the Gematria 123, just like conspiracy. And that's the real word, because that's what it is. So, again, Niners become 12-3 versus the Jets all time. And by winning by 13, they came in plus 110 versus the Jets. They became plus 123. Now, I speculated the Niners were going to win by 12 because the small way, Kamala equals 12, like MNF, like how the Niners were destined to get their 12th win versus the Jets on MNF tonight, as they did. And had they won by 12, they would have been plus 122, where San Francisco equals 122, and it's the city on the 122nd meridian. And I was saying they better not go for two. Please tell me they're going to kick the extra point. Had they just kicked the extra point and made it 20-32, they would have had 52 points scored. The Niners would have become the Niners did become 5-2 at home all time versus the Jets. California equals 52, like Gavin Newsom. And again, today's the state of California's birthday. A few years back, Seahawks were playing San Francisco on Monday Night Football on the state of Washington's birthday, November 11th, 11-11. And the Seahawks were huge underdogs that night. They paid plus 300. And Pete Carroll got his 140th all-time win and 130th regular season win. Washington has the Gematria 140 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, 130 when you run it forwards. Again, if you're new here, this practice coding numbers into words is super simple. It's the alphabetic order forwards. A, B, C is 1, 2, 3 up to Z. The 26 hours 26 is running the alphabetic order in reverse. Hey, thank you, Blizzard Peak. I appreciate that dollar. Yeah, with $1, you guys, I teach you how to turn $1 into a lot of dollars with this knowledge. That's the beauty of this knowledge. If you took the Niners by 12 plus tonight, that alone is a nice big payout. But again, alphabetic order forwards, and also just run it in reverse. Z is 1 back to A is 26, in both orders with numerology. We call them the 4 base ciphers of the English language. You learn these ciphers. You see how they're used in scripted news, scripted elections, scripted sports, and you see how it all intersects as we show you year after year. And, last night was an easy call. We had a hunch before any of the games were played that coming into Sunday Night Football, home teams would have a chance to get to 10-5, exactly what the Lions did for the 105th season. And then we said, well. Now here we are with the game that we saw tied to the debate the very next day. Kamala from the Bay, Donald Trump from New York. And now here it is. Home team's 11-5 for the week, and the election's on 11-5. Remember the 5th of November, that very Jesuit day. Where was tonight's game? In Santa Clara. The reason the 49ers moved from San Francisco, from Candlestick to Santa Clara, is kind of like how the nation's capital went from Philadelphia to the Jesuit stronghold. Santa Clara is a major Jesuit stronghold. It's where one of the nation's 27 Jesuit universities is. And remember who they did dirty last year? right as the season was getting underway in Santa Clara. You remember who dropped dead? The Smash Mouth singer. Yeah, that was dirty. Dead on September 4th, 9/4, Santa Clara, CA, 94. The reflection of 49. Smash Mouth is terminology for football. That was one of the sacrifices for the 49ers NFC Championship season. And then remember, Norma Hunt died last year on the anniversary of the 49ers being established, June 4th, 6-4, right before the Chiefs' 64th season where they won the Super Bowl, holding Lamar Jackson to 64 passing yards at halftime. Again, you guys, you learn the numbers, you'll be laughing at the games, the box scores, just how absurdly scripted all of this is. And if you guys can't see it, I mean, I know the 49ers won, but I'm sure anyone watching the game saw the play where Brock Purdy, I mean, he had his guy wide open for the first down. Would have been an easy first down. I mean, your crippled grandmother could have completed that first down, just the receiver wide open. And instead of throwing it for the easy first down, he throws it downfield into double coverage to go to fourth down. What? I mean, come on, man. I mean, I used to play quarterback. I would have never missed that play from age, I don't even know, I'd say age 7 on. I mean, age 7, I would have had that play. And that's what, if you're an athlete, I don't know how you fall for pro sports. They're a joke. Justin Fields yesterday, we had him to get the win yesterday, staying on 15 road losses in the 15-city Atlanta. But I mean, that guy, sure, he's an athlete and he's got a big cannon, but my God, are you really that bad that you just can't hit these gimme throws? I mean, just like a guy 7 yards away, he's got the ball in the dirt. It's like, what? How are you? What is your contract? I can't stand watching these. And I'll tell you what else, you guys. That's the other thing that's bullshit. These people are not getting paid the money that we're told they're getting paid. They are not. And I'll always go back to the example of Floyd Mayweather for proof. Go back and watch the MTV Cribs episode of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Money Mayweather. They said like he make more money than any pro athlete for his fights, how much he brings in. What does he say in that episode of MTV Cribs when they're interviewing him? He shows you the cars in his garage and he says to the camera, he says, but I'm not allowed to drive them. What? Floyd made money. He can't drive the cars in his own garage? I mean, he wasn't joking. He said he can't drive them. It's like a museum. Again, you guys, you know why they do it? Because this country, it's that phrase. It's the American dream. You got to be asleep to not see what's going on here. This is what they do to us all as children, right? They got the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill. Most of us as males growing up in this country, and probably even young girls now, as women's athletics gets more popular. Caitlin Clark with her nice little 666 ritual the other night. She was born on the day that Kobe had the She's born on January 22nd, the same day in history that Kobe had his 666 ritual when he scored his career high at 81. But again, I mean, as kids, we want to play these children's games for all of our life. We want to be millionaires playing the games. Almost all of us have the same thing going on in our head. That's the real reason they do this. And then a lot of us aren't applying ourselves in the way we should be academically, really pursuing things that really are possible in our lane. Instead, we're spending all our time trying to be the greatest athlete, realizing that, or I should say not realizing that we have no shot at this world stage. These guys who are in this league, for the most part, are born and bred to be. And for those who aren't, who might sneak in there, I think they're the ones with the real short careers that end up just dead in the offseason a lot of the times. Or they're the Glenn Coffeys of the world for all the 49ers fans. Remember Glenn Coffey? As soon as he got in the league, he bounced. He was like, I'm out of the league. I'm becoming a minister. They must have said, all right, Glenn, you want a few carries this year? You want to give up mom or dad? You want to give up brother or sister? Because again, I mean, how don't people notice? How don't people notice all the ritualistic death around all of this celebrity? Just like how blatant it was with Kamala 2 days before she got picked as the VP nominee. Remember who died? The wrestler who went by the name Kamala, whose birth name was James Harris. And what's crazy is James Harris equals 49, just like Kamala Harris, like Washington, like America, like Scottish. And remember, the highest degree of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is 33. And in mathematics, 49 is the 33rd composite number. And there's always huge 33 rituals on Monday Night Football. Case in point, the 49ers picked up their 33rd win all time in week 1 tonight, winning on MNF, where for years we've educated about 33 in Monday Night Football. And who was the star of the game? You know, they got to sub out Christian McCaffrey with the fake injury to get Jordan Mason on the field. Or was it Mason Jordan? Either way. And like I said earlier, if you missed the video, Mason equals 62 in Gematria, Jordan equals 62. That was the date numerology today, 62. And we knew he was going to pound one in for the Masonic ritual, just like we knew Debo was going to get his 39th touchdown versus New York, where it's always 39. They even had to have 39 points in the game in the progression. The player prop we missed on tonight was Jennings. I thought he was going to get it. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't get his 9th career touchdown on 9-9 versus the only team in the league who has a 9 name. But again, we hit the 49ers win, 49ers to cover, 49ers by 12 plus, the over. And again, 2 of our favorite props. We didn't get our third. It's all good. You can't hit them all. But again, big fat winning week. We went 14-2 with picks, hit a lot of nice player props. Again, you guys, you know, go back and watch our video before the Packers game. I had the Packers to lose with 29 points, and I explained why I thought Jordan Love was going to get hurt in the game. And I didn't want to be right about the prediction about Jordan Love. And that part of it, the Jordan Love part is like, I swear to God, it's some kind of voodoo magic thing. And I don't understand how they do it, but I've just seen the ritual enough. And if you want to know how we called it, it was the day leaving 116 days left in the year. Jordan Love equals 116. Packers equals 116. Sao Paulo equals 116. As I explained to my community on Patreon, I said, when things get that lined up with a player, I said, sometimes you'll see them like have the greatest game of their career, but so often they get injured when that much lines up. And then it happened right to Jordan Love at the end of the game. And again, I mean, the reason we're able to observe these things, I speak as we, because I speak for everyone in this community who contributes to the work. But, you know, the eyepiece is, you know, I am the pioneer of this, and I've been here for over 11 years doing it. So, and for all the people who say, well, how do you figure all this out? Not easily. A lot of research, a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding. For anyone who's been here for the whole journey, you know the way I grind. I work from early in the morning till nighttime every day, and I don't take days off. But again, if you guys got here late, Gematria Effect News. If you're watching on Gematria Effect Sports, I do have a news channel that still remains. 20 some of these channels have been deleted, but Gematria Effect News 25 still stands. And, you know, on that channel, I put out early in the beginning of the game why the progression was 7-6 after the death of O.J. Simpson at 76 when San Francisco equals 76. And I said it was early in the first quarter when the score was 7-6. I said in that video, I said, and you guys, Aaron Rodgers can pick up his 76th loss tonight. And when we first looked at this game a few weeks back, when we started looking at the NFL, that was one of the things I had circled. I said, it stands out to me that Rodgers can get his 76th career loss. The dude who played at Cal after OJ dies at 76. And again, OJ played for the Niners and the Bills. And the Bills lead the Niners right now 7-6. I mean, isn't that crazy? And then OJ dies at 76. Remember how they did OJ dirty? OJ died 59 days after the Super Bowl. And they announced his death, showing him in a Titleist hat, right as the Masters teed off, which, by the way, we nailed again this year. We've hit 5 of the last 6 Masters before the tournament began. I mean, how do you do that without understanding how the games are rigged? Since Tiger won it, remember, Tiger's was the easiest to call because they called the thing the Masters, and Tiger hadn't won a major for 11 years, and he'd won his first Masters 22 years earlier. So that was easy. Those are the master numbers, 11 and 22. But since that, we've hit 5 of 6. The year I missed was the first time Scheffler won it. You know, because Scheffler, that was like where Scheffler emerged on the scene, and he's just been dominating ever since. But again, the thing about OJ's death at 76, the word master equals 76, like San Francisco. The word slave equals 59 when you run the alphabetic order forwards, and 76 when you run it in reverse. So OJ died 59 days after the Super Bowl, the last one, at age 76. And then there's a death announced as the Masters is opening, and they're showing you him in a golf cart on a Titleist hat. That's how they showed you when the news broke. They're showing the last time you heard from OJ, which was the day of the Super Bowl, he was golfing. And again, in the Bible, Ephesians 6, it's verses 5-9, slaves, obey your masters. And we've been talking about that verse forever in light of why they code 59 all over Black history, like why Motown came out in 59, like why Black History Month ends on the 59th day of the year. Again, remember, the Catholic Church gave us the Bible as we know it. They gave us the calendar as we know it, and they gave us the English language as we know it. And the Jesuits tuned it all up in the 16th century and rolled out the calendar with the 26-letter standardized alphabet, and they've had a system rolling like this ever since. And again, just think about it, you guys, in light of all roads leading back to Rome. Back in the day, when Rome was falling, they were building more and more colosseums to keep the people entertained, so they weren't seeing the world crumble around them, making sure there was plenty of bread out there, bread and circus. And back then, what did people demand at the Colosseum? They wanted to see the blood, like our movies that they give us. You know, that's right along the same lane. Our movies that we watch are full of violence and blood and death and killing. But people wanted to see bloodshed and death. It was exciting. It was entertaining. You know, they're throwing some slaves out there that the Romans captured in some corner of the world. We'll see how they get torn apart by the lions. So when you see all these players still dying to this day, and you know, they tell you a Clemson player just died out of nowhere at age 26, and you know, I mean, we've seen all kinds of stuff that we died over the years. I remember maybe 5-6 years ago, supposedly a football player jumped off the balcony and died right as the season was getting underway. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sure. But people are like, oh, I bet he was just wasted on a big kegger. Yeah, I doubt it. And not when it's all by the numbers day after day, and these things are just perfect rituals. But yeah, here, let's talk about James Earl Jones. You know, Darth Vader. Tell me, how many times have I talked about George Lucas and 113? Because James Earl Jones was Darth Vader, right? And George Lucas made Star Wars. So I know I've talked about George Lucas and the number 113 a million times. I know I have a big section in my first book about George Lucas, Star Wars 113, George Lucas's first movie, THX 1138. So you mean to tell me that James Earl Jones just happens to be dead on the day leaving 113 days left in the year when George Lucas in the most simple ciphers 113? Remember, you guys, 113 is a special number. There's so many things about it, from the Talmud to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. 113 is no joke of a number. And hold on, I got to adjust my thermostat right now because my body feels like it's on fire in here. Hold on, I let it get too warm in here, and I don't have a fan or anything. All right, the joys of modern day convenience. You can change your thermostat from your phone. No wonder we're all getting so fat. But yeah, literally, guys, I've talked about this a million times. George Lucas and 113. So now here's James Earl Jones, dead on this day, September 9th, the day leaving 113 days left in the year. And then he's dead at 93, right? Star Wars. Oh, what's supposedly the nearest star to us? The sun, right? We're told that the sun is like all the other stars, but it's close. They say the sun is 93 million miles away on average, right? 93 million miles away on average. The people of the sun are the people with the skin that's most adjusted to being out under the sun. You know, a darker complected man can go out and be under the sun and not really have to fear sunburn. A lighter complected dude like myself, you know, be careful. You might get scorched. You might start looking like you're a lobster. But again, I've talked about this 93 in Black history, you guys. Martin Luther King Jr., 93, right? Malcolm X, 93, right? Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks. That's her full name. Technically, you capitalize the C here. It's not going to make a difference. That's Rosa Parks, 93. Black History Month, 93. Hold on. What's the Marcus Garvey dude's name? Marcus Garvey. I think it's his full name. Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Let me see. Is it the full name? His full name is 106 like black, and Black Lives Matter, and I Can't Breathe. Maybe I'm tripping on Marcus Garvey. I see some interesting numbers there. Maybe it's his movement. I swear there's some 93 connection with this dude too, but I forget. It's been a minute. Anyway, there's 93s all over Black history. And, this one right here. Hebrew Israelite, you know what I mean? They say Jesus real remember, Jesus only has one physical description in the Bible, and his hair, he's described as having dark skin and hair like wool. And the Christian section of the Bible begins at the 930th chapter of the Bible, but science says Jesus' crucifixion date is April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year. So anyhow, just long history. By the way, crucifix, God's son, Nazareth, they all equal 93. Anyhow, now we have James Earl Jones dead at 93. And I mean, if you guys go back and read my book, Letters and Numbers, there's so many things that I've forgotten. There are so many 93 rituals in Black history. I can only think of a fraction of them. But here's another one. And here's what's really wicked. A lot of the headlines mention that he was in Field of Dreams. And we're going to go back and look at what they did to Ray Liotta in the Field of Dreams ritual when they had the Field of Dreams game the other year. And you know what? If you guys remember the Field of Dreams, the White Sox and the Reds are the big teams in that. But White Sox has the 93 as well. And here's the thing, you guys. I got to take you back to the MLB first game of the season, spring training. It was the Dodgers and the Padres, and they've synced up this whole season with Steve Garvey, the former Padre and Dodger, who's expected to become senator in California this year, sports and politics. God, what was the first day of spring training? Was it February 22nd? Here, yeah, this was it right here. So look at this, you guys. You see how the Dodgers beat the Padres 14-1? This is the Dodgers' 141st season. And now, from the anniversary of the release of Field of Dreams, April 21st, to James Earl Jones's death is 141 days later. You see this? And they've been syncing up so many rituals this year with the Dodgers and the Padres and Steve Garvey, who's on his way to becoming a senator. And again, we've been talking about this 141 thing, and then boom. Now James Earl Jones is dead at 93. And check this out. Look at this, you guys. 1993 MLB All-Star game, right? The 93 MLB All-Star game. Look at the score of it, 9-3, right? 93 is no slouch of a number. The sun illuminates the world. Order of Illuminati, for the record, has that Gematria 93. But the AL beat the NL 9-3 and 93. And you know who was the master of ceremonies for that game? It was James Earl Jones. James Earl Jones was what was a big part of the ritual. And now here he is dead all these years later at 93. And you know what's been another team that's had the huge rituals this year is another 93 team, the Orioles. Remember, their owner died this year on March 23rd, which was the anniversary of the Key Bridge opening in Baltimore. And then 3 days later, the Key Bridge came down in a major ritual on Nancy Pelosi's birthday, who's from Baltimore, whose father used to be the mayor of Baltimore, Nancy Pelosi's father, has the same August 1st birthday as Francis Scott Key. And in case you're not up on what happened with the Key Bridge coming down on the 86th day of the year, go back and check it out. It was supposedly taken out by that ship, the Dolly from Singapore. Go look where Nancy Pelosi was 86 weeks before the bridge came down. It happened to be on Francis Scott Key's birthday that she was in Singapore shaking hands with the leader of Singapore. You see? And what was crazy is CNN did that story on the broken bridge in the dream, the Salvador Dali painting that they said was reminiscent of the bridge coming down. You see how the broken bridge in the dream equals 128? Look at bridge collapse, 128. They told you the thing came down at 128 in the morning. It came down 128 days from Biden's birthday, who was in Pittsburgh when the bridge collapsed on January 28th. But the bridge also collapsed 128 days before Francis Scott Key's August 1st birthday. And when Biden was in Pittsburgh for the bridge collapse on 128, it was the Fern Hollow, which equals 128. And do you remember how it was next to the synagogue in Pittsburgh that had the active shooter drill before they supposedly had an active shooter there when that was the big story at the time? That when the Fern Hollow Bridge collapsed, it was 128 weeks after that synagogue shooting. I'm sure it's all just a coincidence. So again, I mean, I can skip all around, but the point I'm trying to make to you, just like where I started, is this knowledge shows you the news is rigged. The games are rigged. The election's rigged. It's all being scripted together. Case in point, Baltimore. Look at the gematria of Baltimore, you guys. Again, 95, right? Opening game of this season was on 9-5. The Chiefs beat Baltimore to become 9-5 against them all time. Remember, Baltimore was 5-8 against them before that game. They'd fallen to 5-8 in the AFC Championship, while Andy Reid stayed on 58 losses with the Chiefs en route to winning Super Bowl 58. But notice Baltimore also 58. From Baltimore losing in the AFC Championship to the bridge collapsing was 58 days later. Did you know that Andy Reid came into the game against Baltimore with 128 wins with the Chiefs? Yeah, he did. He did in the regular season. He came in with that 128. But you see how Baltimore's 41? Mahomes got his 41st career road win, beating Baltimore in the AFC Championship. And then the 148 definitely matters because you remember how the news told you that they changed a law 148 years earlier after that ship hit the bridge. And because of that 148 year earlier law change, it determined how the money was going to have to be paid for the bridge damage. All of this was used in that ritual. And you see how Baltimore's 41, so is Key. Key is 41, and Nancy Pelosi's father was the 41st mayor of Baltimore. And I could just go on and on and on about it. But her father died at 84, and the bridge came down on her 84th birthday. It's 84 special. United States of America is 84. The Catholic Church is 84. The Jesuit Order is 84. The Big Way Jesuit Loan's 84. You might remember shortly after the Baltimore Bridge came down, Nancy Pelosi's from Baltimore. She's part of Congress in San Francisco in the Bay Area. You might recall when that Palestinian march shut down the Golden Gate Bridge. That was the day of Nancy Pelosi's husband's 84th birthday. So the Baltimore Bridge comes down on her 84th birthday, on her husband's 84th birthday. Palestinian protesters got the Golden Gate Bridge shut down. Remember in 2018, we were showing you the connection with the Golden Gate in Israel that was shut down for Palestinians. See, this is the joke. It came back around. There's an entrance to Temple Mount in Israel called the Golden Gate, and they shut that down for Palestinians, you see? And then all these years later, now they got the joke of the Palestinian protesters shutting down the Golden Gate Bridge in the U.S. And again, if you're new here, all of these numbers get used in USA rituals. The United States of America was named on this day in history, September 9th, 1776, a span of 132 days from the establishment of the Illuminati. There's 132 rooms in the White House. We never got free from England, another 132. I think it has something to do with Revelation 13, which has to do with the beast, which the authorities seem to be sacrificing everybody for. But yeah, I saw this news and I haven't even had a chance to decode it. You know, another relatively young man. Here we are at the start of a season. A linebacker's dead at 52. A lot of linebackers wear 52, and in football they say the linebacker is the heart of the defense. He plays right in the middle. Some of the greatest linebackers of all time have worn number 52, as any NFL fan would know. But we have a dead linebacker at 52, and I haven't even looked at this. Alan Aldridge. I honestly don't remember this player. Part of me wonders if he's related to LaMarcus, the softest big man in the history of the NBA. Oh my God, that guy was 7 feet tall and played like he was 4 foot nothing. Alan Aldridge, Super Bowl champion, linebacker with Broncos, dead at 52. Aldridge has been head coach of Fort Bend Bush High School in Richmond, Texas since 2008. Alan Aldridge, a former NFL star who won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, has died at 52 years old. The cause of death has not yet been disclosed. I'm guessing it was arsenic poisoning. Aldridge spent 8 seasons in the NFL, 4 with the Broncos, where he played middle linebacker during Denver's 1997 Super Bowl winning season. So this is the John Elway, Terrell Davis team. And 4 with the Detroit Lions. And Lions coming off the big win. Ford Field has that gematria of 52 as well as 47. I'm sure you guys have seen the Ford ad that they keep showing during the games where it says like Ford's been like the best at something for 47 years. Never forget that Henry Ford died on April 7th in the year 47. Those numbers play hard on Ford Field, 52 and 47 for the record. He went to high school in Richmond, Texas. Or no, that's where he's been coaching, excuse me, since 2008. Before breaking into the NFL, Aldridge played for his hometown Houston Cougars in college. The team released a statement on Aldridge via social media. I know LaMarcus Aldridge is from Texas too. I am wondering if they're related. Houston football mourns the loss of decorated Cougar and former NFL standout Alan Aldridge. The statement read on X. Here, let's Aldridge got a chance to show the NFL world how good he was when the Broncos took him in the second round of the 94 NFL draft. Remember, Denver equals 94 like Seattle, Washington. That was the Super Bowl in the 94 season. Then Russell Wilson's grandpa was dead at 94. He had 89 combined tackles in his breakout season. We keep seeing that number in 24. 89 is the 24th prime again. Harbaugh had 89 wins with Michigan when he won the championship. Mahomes had 89 wins when he won the Super Bowl last year. For Missouri, the 24th state, winning in their 24th playoff game and winning the Super Bowl. Missouri equals 42 as they became 4-2 in Super Bowls on the first ever Super Bowl played on the 42nd day of the year, the Vatican's birthday, when Vatican equals 25 and 47, and the Chiefs won it with 25-22 for 47 points. We thought that was a real possibility. 47 on the Vatican's birthday, sure was. They had the over-under set for 47.5, first Super Bowl season, the 47th season of the NFL. That 128 number has been all over the place. They got to talk about this dude playing 128 games. Did this article clarify what day he died? I don't remember reading that. They don't know how he died. He died yesterday on the Queen's death anniversary. Date that could be written 8/9. May 30th to September 8th. Here, just because it's late and I've been grinding all day, let's use the calculator instead of trying to do some head calculations. Let's see how this goes. He died 101 days after his birthday. That's the 26th prime, but you know what that means? That means he died on his 102nd day of his age. And do I got to tell you about this number right here? This one's cold. This is a number that had connected to the racial slur that's connected to slavery. The American Civil War began on the 102nd day of the year. Slavery's got the 102. The N-word with the hard ER ending's got the 102. A lot of rituals with that number over the years as we documented. Alan Ray Aldridge Jr. Poor guy has the 86 in his name like blood sacrifice. What all teams did this dude play for? 112 is a Super Bowl number. Let's see what teams he played for. Remember, it's like I told you, they got the rematch of the Super Bowl on Kamala's birthday. Kamala Harris, 112. Remember Kamala, where we started 123. Like how the 49ers have now outscored the Jets by 123 points as they become 12-3 with all these ongoing 123 Kamala rituals. I told you this morning, that's what this game was about. I don't know how we have any doubters in 2024. I mean, how much more do we need to prove? I mean, how many more things do we need to call before it happens? How many more dots do we need to connect? I feel like I shouldn't have had any critics in 2015. It's 2024. People always come here, oh, I call one more thing. Well, I already called like a million, dude. How many more do I need to call before you have enough evidence? Why do I even need to call anything? Isn't it obvious all bullshit anyway? You can't see you're being lied to and deceived by all these people? Can't see this whole thing's a scam? Why should athletes even be paid contracts like $50 million? Dak Prescott, highest paid player in the league. Have you seen Dak Prescott at the Skills Challenge? I'm over 40 years old with a busted shoulder. I think I can still outthrow Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott doesn't even belong in a professional football league. I'll tell you what, though. Again, you guys, hey, for all you Cowboys fans, big number right here. The season began 41 days after Dak's birthday while he's on 41 losses. That's every year we talk about that number in the big game. We'll see if it means anything. Dallas established in 1841. Super Bowl is going to be 1,841 days after Kobe died. You know what I mean? I think Tyler, Texas, where Patrick Mahomes was from, I think that town was established in 1841. The Dallas Texans became the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know. Hold on. Let me see all the teams this dude played for. Alan Aldridge. This is not the same guy, is it? No, this ain't the same guy. Hold up. Aldridge. Oh, here's the right. There's been multiple Alan Aldridges in the league. That's interesting. Wore 57 and 55. 100. From Houston. Again, remember last year they had the first two playoff games were the Texans against the Browns, and I still remember. I mean, just how people can still go to these games and think they're anything other than rigged. I don't understand. Browns Texans just had two of the worst calls in the history of calls early in the game that just changed the total momentum of the game. If you remember, like I do, Browns had a nice drive going. Right before the ball gets to the receiver that would have been a certain first down, he gets tackled about a whole second and a half before the ball even gets there, just gets wasted. The ball sails past both of them because they're on the ground, and it's right in front of the ref, and the ref does it incomplete. It's like, oh, really? You can tackle him a second and a half before the ball gets there, huh? Incomplete, huh? And instead of first down, now they're punting because it was third and 8. Instead of a first down, now they're punting because apparently that was an incompletion. It wasn't a pass interference, even though it was like the most obvious one in the history of pass interference. Just like the Miami-Florida game. I saw Miami-Florida first quarter. It's almost the same thing happened in their game. It's like, well, I know who's winning this game, Miami. Oh, my God. Even on the home field, they can't get the call. It's like the same thing. It was deja vu. But then the very next drive, it was like third and I think like even longer. I think they were backed up because of a penalty. Third and forever. Nowhere near scoring range. And then, like a prayer, just bomb down the field and like uncatchable ball, no real contact. And then out comes the flag. Oh, look at where the Texans are now. The Texans are like at the 1 yard line. Oh, nice. Just got like 50 some yards for free. They're not punting. It's like, wow, that was no pass interference, a blatant pass interference. Now you have no contact, nothing, no penalty. Oh, that one's going to get them 50 yards down to the goal line. I mean, it's like that video they put out from that Washington Commanders guy, supposedly the secret camera on the blind date, talking about how NFL fans are a bunch of drunk morons. I mean, how isn't it true? If it wasn't a bunch of drunk morons, how would anyone still be thinking these games were legitimate? How's anyone still voting in these rigged selections? Is this nation just a bunch of drunk morons? Remember, alcohol equals 33. When did they end prohibition? What's the political family that got rich off bootlegging? Kennedy, 33. Then the one gets smoked on 11 plus 22, 33 in Dealey Plaza, named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason. It's like American football is credited with a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, and they pay tribute to 33 every week on Monday Night Football as the Niners pick up their 33rd all-time win in week 1. And again, they had Sela, the former coordinator for the Niners, come in on 33 career losses, and he picks up his 34th. Again, picking up's always better than staying. Alan Aldridge, yeah. Denver and Detroit. Teams that started with a D, the fourth letter, Ford, associated with death. His last year in the league, 2001. The year of the 9/11 Patriot Act, New England Patriots script. And again, Tom Brady calls his first game against Dallas, who gave him his last career loss in his last career game. Remember, he picked up his 13th postseason loss in that game. Dallas equals 13. Yesterday, Deshaun Watson picked up his 30th regular season loss and 13th career home loss. Cowboys equals 30, Dallas 13. And the guy who scored the first touchdown, Brandon, with the funny spelling with an I in his name, Brandon Cooks. You see it, 199, put the Cowboys up 7-3. But Tom Brady, the 199th pick of the draft. Again, 199 is the 46 prime. Tom Brady equals 46 out of Michigan, 46. Got to go kiss the Pope's hand. Catholic, 46, like JFK smoked it, 46. Like Joe Biden, the second Catholic president elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament. You see the Catholic 145. Don't forget when Harbaugh was coaching Michigan and his tight end, Jake Butt, he fell to the 145th pick of the draft the day after Harbaugh kissed the Pope's hand. Jake Butt was in a YouTube live stream, and I think I had him laughing with my comments in the chat because they put it up on the screen. And remember, Jake Butt, his last day in the NFL was the day he got hurt on the Jesuit anniversary, September 27th. You know, did he even really get hurt? So many weird injuries at practice. These guys just can't stay healthy. Christian McCaffrey got nicked up so bad he couldn't play in the game. They had to put in Jordan Mason on the 62 day. Jordan 62, Mason 62. Cash that prop bet. Yes, sir. Number 24 to start the 2024 season. So anyway, if you guys are on Gematria Effect News or Gematria Effect Sports, be on both because I put different content up on both. These are my channels that still live to this day. 20 some deleted. And look at what they've done to my channel, you guys. Look how they've ruined my channel. How come I can't get any views anymore? You know, when I started the channel, I was able to get some views. Wait a minute, those are my most They're lying. When you click popular, it doesn't even go to the most popular videos. Oldest? Man, they are screwing me over. What? Where are my videos of how LeBron's going to win the finals that got over 100 and some thousand views? Where are those videos at? Did they get rid of them? Oh my God, they have ruined my channel. My videos that actually have, like, where's the videos on Kobe's death that have over 100,000 views? What in the world? Those are not the oldest videos. They are lying. Wow. They have ruined my channel and made it look like nobody ever watched anything here. Okay. Man, they're doing some super hating on my channel. And anyway, even though my old news channels, I had videos that were, again, I've eclipsed 1 million views 2 times. I used to have a ton of videos that were close to 1 million views. All those channels have been deleted. Now it's like I can't even get any views. Like video has like 500 views. It's like, how's this even possible? The work's way better than it used to be when I could command 1 million views. Now that the work's way better, now I can only get 500 views? What? Okay. You guys remember when Christian McCaffrey scored the first touchdown of the Super Bowl on the Vatican's birthday? It was as good as Christian Watson scoring in Corinthians down in South America where it's super Catholic. Here, I'm going to drop the link if anybody else wants to come on and chime in. For all you Star Wars buffs, I bet there's more to James Earl Jones. Here, let's even look more. I see the George Lucas piece, but I know Star Wars came out in 77, but I can't remember what day it came out on. May 25th, 145th day of the year. Catholic Church worshiping that star in the sky. 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. Jake Butt falls to the 145th pick of the draft. All right, hold up. Let's see. James Earl Jones, Darth Vader. Look at that, you guys. Dead 107 days after Star Wars came out. I see it. Ritual sacrifice, 107. Blatant. You know, him wearing all black, I'm sure there's some kind of tribute to Saturn in that because the planet Saturn's connected to death and judgment and time. And Saturn's always symbolized with black. And I guess technically in our culture, we would refer to him as a black man, even though he's just a few shades lighter than or darker than I am. But yeah, Saturn is big with the number 93. Aleister Crowley has that religion related to Saturn, the Lima. All right, but yeah, did I drop the link? If anybody else wants to come on here and chime in about the buzzing topics, did you see what they did to Nicole Kidman's mom? Or did you guys miss my video on that? Or the one on the Clemson player? Again, Nicole Kidman's mother died unexpectedly 79 days after her birthday on the date that can be written 7/9. Here, 917 wanted to phone in real quick. But murder and death equal 79 and 97. Mac Miller died on that day the other year. It's the day Tupac was shot. The Clemson player's name equaled 79, dead the same day. What's up, 917?
Yeah, did you mention from George Lucas's birthday to today?
I should have done that. 100. All right, let's see. Let's see it. This is Gematria 32, you guys. Well, if that means it's 118 days after George Lucas's birthday, death and homicides 118. That would also mean it's the 119th day of his age, wouldn't it? 119th day of his age. I see it. Star Wars 119.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And yeah, he wears black. I think he was like had something to do with in the Sephiroth, the dark, the hidden Sephiroth that you don't see.
Oh, the 11th.
Like, yeah, it's real deep. Like, Yoda comes from the 10th letter, Yoda, the smallest letter, and then he go out from there. Like, that whole Star Wars thing is super Kabbalistic if you like really get into it and know the tree of life and really into your mysticism. But I ain't gonna hold up on yo. Great job, Zach. Debo with the 39 catch against New York.
39 touchdown. Yeah, that's coming. Always New York and 39. And yeah.
Yeah, great stuff, man. The Patreon page, man. Patreon is like the best thing. Thank you, Zach, so much. Thank you.
All right, congrats on the win. You have a good night. Yeah, that's just blatant, you guys. Because again, George Lucas equals 113. Star Wars is 119. Most simple ciphers. He's dead on the 119th day of George Lucas's age on the day leaving 113 days left in the year. I mean, game over. Game over. And thank you, Blizzard Pete, for the $1. Thank you very much, Taryn Olson with the big 5. I appreciate that. John Mendoza, always with the generous dollars. Thank you, John. And Starry Ein Dreamer with the big 2. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. We got somebody in the chat who's never been here before. LLDR Picks. What's up, LLDR Picks?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I had the volume messed up. Hold on. Let me make sure all my audio settings are good so everyone hears you right. Yeah, we should be good. Go ahead.
Okay, man. Just want to shout you out, dude, man. I appreciate your work, dude. I've been following you for a while and actually have learned a lot, man. But one of the things I want to point out to you about today with the James Earl Jones passing, man, I was something just told me to check out to see if it was a player in the league that had ever that was from I think it was what's the city that James Earl Jones passed? Or was it Pauline, New York?
I got to look that part up.
Yeah, it's a guy, man, that used to play for the 49ers. His name is Shane Skove. Last name Skov, first name Shayne. Man, this guy actually was from the same city. He went to high school in Pauling, New York, where James Earl Jones passed away. And man, it was just mind blowing to see that this guy had grew up in California, played for the 49ers, and he actually was born on the ninth day. Aaron Rodgers got his ninth loss today against the 49ers on Monday Night Football on the ninth day of the month. Man, it just blew me away, dude.
Those are great observations. I'll look more into that angle. I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Somebody left a comment that there's something about James Earl Jones' death. I guess there's a new Lion King movie coming out. We're gonna have to look at that angle. But first, we got Open Up, great contributor in the community. What's up, Open Up?
Yeah, what's up? Real quick, about Jordan Mason. Did you notice he scored the 26 points of the game?
Isn't it perfect?
I mean, yeah. Well, 29th, I meant.
Okay.
Masonry.
Okay. Yeah, big football number. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. Everything's been great with the Patreon. I mean, week 1 already. I wasn't here earlier when you said the work was so potent, maybe like 5 to 10 years ago. But I mean, right now it's as good as it gets, right?
Well, we've had better weeks historically, but I mean, it was a great week. So, I mean, the week we produced this week is what I used to do consistently back in the day. And I mean, hopefully we can do even better than this week. But a lot of people have made enough money this year that if they just stay consistent the rest of the year, they're already guaranteed to make a profit for the whole season, even if they lose the rest of the weeks for the rest of the year. So
Yeah, and we've had some great contributions. We had the guy who called the Caitlin Clark. We had David who called exact points. We have people calling in props every day, and I don't know where else you're gonna find this type of information for such low value. Like Ro always says, you should bump up the price, but people out there are cheap, so got to keep it low for people to keep joining. And like I always like to say, it's more than sports, as you can see here with James Earl Entertainment, government. You saw how the game and this week's games linked up with the election coming up, with all the games ending the home teams 11-5. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow's the debate, right?
It sure is.
Yeah.
It
So I'm
sure
sure there'll be some more circus theater mockery there too, right?
And just to remind you guys, tomorrow's the day leaving 112 days left in the year. Kamala Harris is 112. Donald's 112. It's going to be 56 days before the election on the day leaving 56 days left in the year. Again, huge number with the Jesuits. Trump's Jesuit educated. Also a huge number with Black Lives Matter. And it's a parallel to Obama, who won the 56th election the first time he became president. So there's very specific reasons that's the debate date tomorrow. And again, there's a lot of 112 business with Kamala as well. So remember, that's how she got on the map, was when she schooled Joe Biden with the whole busing thing, and then next thing you knew, they were the ticket, and then taking the White House by the numbers. But yeah, what they're doing here with the NFL season, man, the Kamala narrative is building, and with that whole thing of Klaus Schwab saying by 2030 you'll own nothing and be happy. One of the policies that Kamala has proposed is paying taxes on unrealized capital gains. So, like, what that means is that if you have a home and it appreciates $50,000, they said that there would be like a 30% tax. So that means you would have to pay $15,000 additional dollars in taxes. And plus, when your property value goes up, that means your property taxes already go up. So it's like the government's double dipping. But that's going to make it. I mean, imagine that you buy a home; it's already expensive enough, and then there's an appreciation. You're not selling your house; you're still living there. But now they're saying, "Oh, your house appreciated $50,000. You owe us $15,000 more dollars this year." Imagine you got into a place where you bought your first rental home, and you're barely hanging in there. You can't afford for anything to go wrong, but you're trying to create some passive income and get ahead in the world. So you got two properties; they both go up $50,000 for the year, and now you owe $30,000 more in taxes. Where's the money coming from? Who can afford to pay this? Only the super rich could ever afford this. And again, that's who's buying up all the homes, the super rich, through their little, conglomerates like BlackRock. And again, these kind of proposals are just straight up insane. And then, I really started to think about things like this, about how, you got like Taylor Swift persuading all the 18-year-olds that they need to go out and vote for Kamala. It's like, okay, so these 18-year-olds are going to vote because Taylor Swift said so, and they don't really know anything about it. Again, understand the whole thing's rigged, but they don't realize they're voting for someone who's proposed. They don't even know what capital gains are. That's why, you guys, this whole idea of democracy, it really is just stupid. Really, all you need is a good leader. We just need a good leader, and if we don't have a good leader, we kill that mother and we put somebody else in there. I mean, and term limit, all this stuff is bullshit, you guys. It's also that we keep going, oh, well, that's because of the Republican Party. No, that's because of the Democratic Party. Donald Trump prints all this money, and there's crazy inflation. And again, inflation, historically, it takes a little bit of time till it catches up. But see, now he's out of there, and then Biden's in there, like, oh, the inflation's Biden's fault. It's like, well, it was Trump who did the policy of printing all the money, not to mention he was a Democrat his whole life until Obama became president. But all of this stuff is the game they play. So everyone's just pointing their fingers at everything. And, dude, I mean, do you really want a nation of morons even having a say in anything? Because that's what we have. Like, I don't want morons voting for anything. I don't know what I mean, it's all crap. But yeah, the things that Kamala is proposing, like taxes on unrealized capital gains, it's insanity. It's literal insanity. And I work like here in Washington State, on the ballot this year's income tax. We already pay taxes on every single thing. If income tax is going to pass in Washington, it's like, okay, are we supposed to have anything, or are we just supposed to all live in super debt and just pay every last penny we have left to the government? So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said is why we're in the position we're in now, which is a really bad spot. So what I like to tell a lot of people is, when you go to share the information, the people that you share with. I mean, you could share with your family and your friends, people in your age range and older people. But what I've noticed is a lot of people who are adults, they're set in their ways already. It's really hard to get through them. You could still share with them, but I would suggest going with younger age group, like middle school to high school, that age range. Those people are more open to these type of things. But a lot of older people and adults, like I said, set in their ways. People watching Fox News and CNN for 10 to 30 years of their life, they've been, heavily programmed. So it's going to be hard to break out of that. But yeah, I just wanted to bring those things up, and appreciate your work as always.
Indeed. Great call. Appreciate it. Open up.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Yeah, for the goofball in the comments who doesn't know anything, you're like, they could put Kamala in there. Have you seen who your presidents have been in the 21st century? First of all, one who could hardly formulate a sentence. George W. Bush started off the 21st century, the first Republican president since the last who was his father. And remember, when he got elected, it came down to the state where his brother was the 43rd governor, Jeb, and then he became the 43rd president, and their daddy was the 43rd vice president, and Yale equals 43 like Florida. Like Brady goes down to Florida at age 43 and rims himself a rigged Super Bowl over the Chiefs, which we called before the season even began. Help people make a lot of money, as we've done so many times. So just goofy stuff from the comments. How could she win? How could any of these people win? After Bush gets reelected running against another Skull and Bones member, John Kerry. That's not weird. Two Skull and Bones members are the front runners. And then 10 years after Tupac's song Changes, which was probably recorded after he supposedly died by the numbers, 10 years later, we get Obama running on Hope and Change. And then in 2012, he gets reelected running against a Mormon, when the Mormon religion says the closer to God you are, the whiter your skin is, a very racist religion. Get the joke? And let's not forget who he beat in 2008. In 2008, John McCain was already senile. John McCain was like a cuckoo clock. How was he the front runner for the Republican Party? John McCain belonged in the dementia home. It's like, oh, we get Mr. Hope and Change, who they just pulled out of the woodwork for the token black symbolism, who ran on empty rhetoric and was a horrible, evil politician in his time in Illinois, and he's running against a senile old man. I mean, what a joke. 2016, The Apprentice, the first degree of Freemasonry, announces he's running from the 58-story Trump Tower to win the 58th election when Freemasonry and secret society equal 58. And there's an episode in the 90s of Suddenly Susan that came out on May 8th where Trump's the president of the United States. You don't think it was scripted 20-some years in advance? Because it was. Even longer than that, actually. Oprah asked Trump in 88 if he wanted to be president someday. Oprah equals 58. And don't forget, Gerald Ford, he told us back in 1989, we'll get the first 89, right? That's the same year Field of Dreams came out, the 24th prime. In 89, Gerald Ford had said in the Herbert Hoover Library that someday there'll be an old man who dies while he's in office, and that's how we'll get the first female president. And it matters that he said it in the Herbert Hoover Library because Kamala Harris, just like S. Lee has on the screen, as we talked about so many times, Herbert Hoover died October 20th, 1964, the same day Kamala Harris was born. And Kamala was born 110 days after the Civil Rights Act. President equals 110. She's running on being number 47. Again, she just spoke at the DNC on the anniversary of Huey P. Newton's death, who died at 47. Her mama died on 2/11, the Vatican's birthday, right as Obama took office. 2/11's the 47th prime. That's the 42nd day of the year that her mom died. Again, February 11, 2009, right when we got Obama. Kamala has the 42 in her name, number stamped all over Black history. Biden passes the torch to Kamala 42 months in the day after they take office, 123 days after Willie Brown's birthday. As I told you this morning, and I've been talking about before, but I put out a video for free to everybody this morning, the Niners would win, making home teams 11-5 like the date of the election. And I thought they'd win by 12. Instead, they won by 13 to become plus 123 all-time in scoring against the Jets, and 12-3 versus the Jets all time, getting that 12th win on MNF. You know what I mean? So for the goofball in the comments who's like, what? Kamala? Do you know what country you live in? You live in a country that mocks your ass every day and gives you bullshit candidates that no sensible person would ever support. Ever, ever, ever. Joe Biden? And who told you it'd be Joe Biden? Everyone thought I was wrong. I said, yeah, he's going to be the second Catholic president elected exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday is number 46 when he sacrificed his son, Beau Biden, at age 46. Perfectly synced with the Pope, May 30th, 2015. Goofball. What are you, Kamala? You haven't realized that they're all ridiculous? That's what's infuriating when you're intelligent and you live in a society of morons and mental midgets. When these people try to talk shit, it's like, do you understand the phrase "know your place"? Most of you don't. You don't know your place. You're probably the same guy that's like cheering for the team. Oh, you think the games are real? You think the election's real? You're tuned into the news to get your information, not realizing it's your nonstop propaganda programming. Goofballs in my chat. You don't belong here. Shut up and learn something. What's up, Hex?
Hey, Zach. So this is the perfect timing too. So my 21st birthday is on Wednesday, ironically, and I was having a conversation with some guy at my job, and he was talking about 9/11 so sad, like 9/11 so sad, and then he turned around and showed me the shit with Tyreek Hill, which was just I laughed at it inside, but act like I cared. But I said that to say it's my 21st birthday, and I live in Vegas, and you know how hard they are on gambling. So I'm picking up your book's numbers game, so I can get a better understanding of this, because I already know like the basic stuff. I just want to be able to catch the symbolism and what exact numbers to look for. So when it's time, I'm pretty much good to go. So
well, I appreciate you supporting the work and getting out the word. And I wish I knew this when I was 21. You're going to be way ahead of the game.
Yeah, and I'm trying to like people around me. They're into sports, and they like to do parlays and shit and waste their money not knowing what they're doing. But I'm trying to like put them on Gematria. I'm trying to tell them, and it's like it's some stuff that's that they're correlating with, and it's others that they're not. They're not really accepting for whatever reason. So I guess the best way to show them is to hit the jackpot.
Exactly. And you'll find even when you're doing that, some people still won't acknowledge it. Big Al, he's a mailman down in Arizona. He's been with this community for almost 10 years now, and he's been making a lot of wins, and he likes to go in and show his slips to the other post office people. Several years he's made more off taking advantage of this knowledge than his day job. And these people, they just sit there and they think he gets lucky. Watching it day after day, year after year, they still can't acknowledge that because they don't want to admit that the games are rigged. They don't want to think that this could possibly be going on. And again, it's just because they didn't learn this in their slave school. They think all that matters in the world is what's in their slave school upbringing, not understanding this knowledge is old. This goes back to Babylon. The Cabal, the Cabal, this is the secret knowledge of the Cabal based in Kabbalah, where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from. And again, the Cabal has figured out how to make a dumb, hypnotized society that's very hard-headed, and it's that Mark Twain quote. It's easier to fool somebody than convince them they've been fooled. And most people's egos are too big to admit that they've been had.
Oh, yeah, because my older brother, well, not my older brother, but my little brother, he's in college. I think he goes to Colorado State, if I'm not mistaken. And so, like, I don't know, I hope, he does whatever he has to do, but I know that he won't pick up on this knowledge because he's pretty much been playing sports all his life. So it'd be pretty much impossible to try to tell him, hey, the shit you want to do is fake. Because, he's very good. Like, he's a very good football player. He's very talented, but, it's some things you really can't change. But with this football season, though, I'm also looking forward to what symbolism to look for, because the numbers and stuff, I'm already double checking, but I also want to see like the symbolism, like.
Well, hey, just watch what the Niners do on Gavin Newsom's birthday, October 10th, and then they play their next game on Kamala's birthday versus the Chiefs. And by the way, here, I want to remind everybody about this. When the Chiefs went to the White House this year, it was the 152nd day of the year. Kamala Devi Harris won 52. Joe Biden 152. The first President's Day when they took office fell on 15/2, the 46th day of the year. Go figure, because it doesn't fall on that day every year. And you know what? OJ, who died in San Francisco this year, from his death to today's game that was all about Kamala was 152 days later. And remember that episode of The Simpsons with the first female president where she's wearing, again, Lisa Simpson's the first female president. She's wearing purple with a pearl necklace, just like Kamala wore on Inauguration Day. That episode came out 152 days after Kamala's birthday. And again, these things aren't an accident. These things are not an accident. Remember, Whore of Babylon equals, look at this. Whore of Babylon equals 217. The Whore of Babylon wears purple with a pearl necklace in Revelation 17:4. Today is the 174th birthday of California, as they do this tribute to Kamala with the 49ers versus Trump's New York. And again, Tim Walz, who was their VP, is from Minnesota, and that beat the other New York team. But remember, Kamala, she got the torch passed to her on 21/7, 217 days after the Pope's birthday. A lot of people have said the Catholic Church is the Whore of Babylon. And when Donald Trump gave the lotus flower to the Pope, Kamala means lotus flower, that was back on May 24, 2017. That was 217 days after Kamala's birthday. And again, her father, whose name is Donald J. Harris, he was in a group with Huey P. Newton, who founded the Black Panther Party in San Francisco. And Huey P. Newton has that 217 birthday. And you see how Whore of Babylon 71 up on the screen? Check Kamala Devi Harris. It's also got the 71, just like Catholic. And remember, Kamala could never pass the bar exam until she took it at the Jesuit University there in San Francisco. And my guess is she never really passed the thing. She's just their little stooge puppet who will go out there and put on a good face, well, at least to some people, and enforce these crazy policies that she does. As she goes on the Breakfast Club and laughs about how she smoked weed, meanwhile, she enforced policy in California that put a lot of people in prison for possession of weed. You're an evil person if you will smoke weed yourself and then put people in prison for doing the same thing. And that's what our government is, a bunch of corrupt hypocrites that nobody should be voting for.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't agree with you anymore. But yeah, I just wanted to, get in here, show you support and, share this with you and maybe learn, something more that I didn't know today. But thank you for having me in this call, and I hope you have a good night, Zach.
You too, Hex. Keep speaking truth to power. And as you get older, you'll get more persuasive too. Because see, that's the advantage of being a young guy. Older guys will look at you and be like, oh, you're only 20 years old. What do you know? 21? What do you know? But you're way ahead of the game. And as you get older and you keep proving your point, you're going to earn more and more respect.
Oh, yeah. Like my mom, she was friends with the Masons. So it's like I would try to have what good conversations I could, speaking with Masons. But yeah, basically, he knew everything I'd be talking about. It was just everybody else around me that didn't. They just thought I was a crazy one. But you know how that goes.
I do know how that goes, man. I've been called crazy since I was 18 years old, questioning 9/11. So just know, being in the truth seeker lane, it can be a tough lane at times. So make sure you got thick skin. Sounds like you got it though.
Oh yes. Well, thank you. Have a good night, Zach.
Yeah, you too. Take care, Hex. All right, we got T up next. What's up, T?
Yo, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
I'm good. Hey, I was looking at Kendrick Lamar. You know his label, PG Lang, it equals 30, 105, and 24. So just like
NFL season.
Exactly. And then whoever wins the Super Bowl have 30 wins, and then it's the 24th season.
Here, for people who missed the video I put out yesterday on Kendrick Lamar being announced the halftime performer, normally they don't announce it this early in the season, but it was a perfect ritual, you guys. Check this out. It was 83 days after his birthday. Football's 83. He represents L.A. You can write the 8th of September, 8/9, like Los Angeles, California is 89. But that night, the Rams, Los Angeles Rams, is also 83. We're in Detroit, Michigan. We call that the 83 city because it equals 83, and it's on the 83rd meridian. Motown, a music city. So 83 days after his birthday, he's announced as the halftime performer for the big football game when hometown team is playing in prime time, again in the 83 city. The 83 city wanted to make home teams 10-5 for week 1 to open the 105th NFL season. And then, the other LA team had quite the ritual yesterday, too, because they got their 59th win versus the Raiders, and they got their 277th all-time home franchise win, which is the 59th prime. So both of the LA teams did interesting things. And you know what else is interesting is the Saints, who host the Super Bowl. For people who don't know this, their first touchdown of the game was a 59-yard touchdown, which means the play started at the 41-yard line. And of course, Super Bowl equals 41, like they're going to host it. But LA's also 41. And think about how Harbaugh's back in the league, coaching in LA. And the
Yes.
last Super Bowl in New Orleans was 47, like how the Saints won with 47 yesterday. And it was the Harbaugh Bowl. And notice how Jim equals 32, but John equals 47. And of course, John representing the Maryland team. Maryland's also 47. And notice Maryland's 34 as well, because the Ravens won both their Super Bowls with 34 points. But of course, John beat Jim in the Harbaugh Bowl, the last one in New Orleans. And let's not forget, this year's Super Bowl's on the 40th day of the year. Jacoby Jones, who's from New Orleans, who played for that Ravens team in Super Bowl 47, who was a big star of the game, he died this offseason for no real reason at age 40. Again, wearing number 12 when the last big game there was 12 years ago. This is a reminder about all these ritualistic deaths for this rigged league. But go ahead, man. I heard you trying to say something.
No, I was gonna say I was the one that called in and let you know about the Chargers playing the Saints 105 days. Plus they had the 105th pick this year in the draft. I've been paying attention to them a lot. When the Chargers was the last preseason game when they played against the Tex, the Dallas, when they played against Dallas, it was 12 to 15 players stuck, or 12 to 15 people stuck in the elevator that day.
Huh. Well, that's weird. You still there, T? Oh, we might have lost T.
You can hear me?
Now I hear you. You're back.
Oh, my bad. Cause I'm trying to go to my notes while talking, so I guess when I click off of the app, it might go the other way. But Jim Harbaugh, he said we dodged a bullet, and they quoted they plastered it everywhere. And when I typed that in the gematria equals 59, and 12 to 15 players, that's key because the Chargers is now on 12 playoff. They on 12 all time playoff wins, and if they were to go to the Super Bowl, they'll have 15 playoff wins. And
Uh-oh, he cut out again. T, you cut out.
my bad. I'm trying to go to the notes. My bad. That
Okay.
day they were stuck in an elevator with Dan Fouts' wife and daughter. And when they were stuck in that elevator, I looked up Dan Fouts. He was drafted in 1973. He's 73 years old, and the incident happened at 7:30. And he played 15 seasons. And it's crazy how they can have 15 wins this year if they was to go to the Super Bowl. And it was another thing that I was looking at with Herbert. Herbert went down with in practice. He went down for 2 weeks. He got hurt August 1st. So you can look at it as 8-1 or 8-1-8. He was out for 18 days and he came back 8/19. And when he came back, Harbaugh said another quote that everybody was talking about. It's like he heard the voices of angels, maybe. I typed that in, that equals. Yeah, I gotta look at the notes. Hold on real quick, I might cut out. Say
He'll be
that.
right back. He's back.
Ritual equals ritual that equals 81 and ritual equals 81. And then it equals the same date that Justin Herbert came back, which is 8/19. He was out from 8/1 to 8/19. And then ritual equals 81, but the voices of angels equaled 8/19. Or no, 198.
I see. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh, he dropped out. Well, we appreciate it, T. Hey, all the electric car advertisements with Ford this year, you just never know. You just never know. Remember, the power went out in the Harbaugh Bowl. Okay, Joey's got here. All right, Joey, tell us how it was all about Cam tonight. Just joking, man. What's the observation?
Just the James Earl Jones news. Aaron Rodgers, he won a Super Bowl with a receiver named James Jones.
He did. Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's James Earl Jones died at the age of 93.
Hold on. Maybe you're gonna say we're gonna say how Aaron Charles Rodgers equals 93, like Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I was gonna say Aaron Charles Rodgers 93.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football 93.
Yeah.
But
New York, NY, where he's playing for the Jets, 93. Yeah. Okay, I got it. That does make sense.
and the receiver James Jones, it was the 163rd day of his age. The 38th prime. Like
Isn't
death.
this wild? It's just wild how they do this. It's like the Illuminati is too much.
I don't know exactly how they do this. I just see how they line it up perfectly by the numbers, but I don't understand. But there's more to it. So someone brought up how George Lucas, it was 118 days after George Lucas's birthday. And of course, death is 118, like 163, the 38th prime. But the thing about the 118 is the Packers got their 118th loss. No. I called the Jets the Packers because they have Rodgers. The Jets got their 118th all-time loss against the NFC all-time. So you're right, man. How they just lined it up so perfectly. I mean, it's, for example, so there, like, that was my on topic point. So don't say like I didn't stay on topic. There's my, because it doesn't take that long to make salient points. So there's my on topic point.
Here, Joey, here, I give you a hard time, but you know what? I know that you're a good decoder. It's just a lot of people will say, Joey, when he calls in, he starts with something good and then he like takes it too far, and then it starts to get like, I don't know about this, Joey. And I think that is true feedback. That's often how I feel. And trust me, about 50 people reached out and said the same thing to me. So, I mean, just keep it where it's solid. You don't need to like extend it off into left field, for a baseball reference. By the way, I know, what stood out to me when I was just looking at the James Earl Jones thing? He was in a big baseball movie in addition to Field of Dreams. He was in The Sandlot that came out in 93. And the kid wears a Dodgers jersey in that. And I was talking about how he died 141 days after Field of Dreams anniversary, and the Dodgers are in their 141st season. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. I wanted to get to the Panthers game, the biggest blowout of the week. I wanted to bring up.
We loved Derek Carr. He was Lock City to beat the Panthers.
Of course, he had the 73rd win, like Carolina.
And that the 38th home win, and they got their 38th home win in the division.
It's coded in so many different ways, because I noticed that it was Carr's 160th career game and 160th career start, so 160 on both. And Alabama Crimson Tide equals 160. And the Panthers quarterback is the number 1 overall pick who played for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And 31 is the big Alabama number. And I noticed that the Saints could get their 31st all-time win against the Panthers. So I said the 160 like Alabama Crimson Tide plus the 31 win all-time. And then all the 73s. So that was an absolute lock.
Nice work. You guys, I just looked this up. Somebody left a comment earlier, and I think it was Green Arrow, and he had a good decode, and I'd have to go back and find his comment. But look at when the new Lion King movie comes out, you guys. It comes out in the time of Saturnalia, and he's dead at 93. And again, Darth Vader has all that Saturn symbolism. Saturnalia is connected to ritual sacrifice. So we got a new Lion King movie literally coming out in Saturnalia, and he's been the voice in the past of Mufasa, from what I understand, James Earl Jones, and maybe he's even the voice in this movie. So let me see how this lines up. He's dead today on the anniversary of the U.S. being named. Oh my God, he's dead 102 days before the movie comes out. Again, just like how we were looking at the dead linebacker dead on his 102nd day of his age. God, what's Mufasa equal? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. It's amazing what you can see with this knowledge. I mean, it really is like putting on a pair of glasses once you get familiar with it. I found your work in January of 2019. It was right after a blatant pass interference call, and at that point I was like, I'm gonna find the answer to like how sports are rigged. And then because I typed in rigged sports in YouTube, and I had to scroll. I remember having to scroll like to like 3 or 4 pages, and then I seen you. And then I started listening to you, and then heard you talk about like QEP Newton synced with the Panthers. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh my God, this guy's fucking right. Then I was like, it's even synced with the local shit. And this shit is just fucking blows my mind. But that's pretty much all I got, Zach.
All right. All right, Joey. Appreciate it.
Yep, peace.
Yeah, you guys, I saw the full title of the movie has the 94 in it. And if he's dead at 93, it means he's dead in his 94th year of life. It's got the 274, like Jesus Hominum Salvator. I could say things about all these numbers, really, but the 94 also goes with the planet, which is Saturn, the one that's most important to the occult. But again, he's dead at 93, and that movie does come out in the time of Saturnalia. Remember, Obama joked at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on the Church of Satan's birthday back on April 30th, 2011, that he was Simba. If you guys haven't seen that. And he joked in that same White House Correspondents' Dinner on the Church of Satan's 45th birthday that Trump would become number 45 days before Trump's birthday with Trump in attendance. And again, Trump runs on Mega, which is the highest degree of the Church of Satan. But Obama joking he's Simba when Simba equals 44, like he ran on Hope, another 44, elected 44 years after the Civil Rights Act in 64, when the face of the Civil Rights Act was killed on 4-4. And again, this year, Clemson, Dabu Sweeney gets his 44th loss against Georgia, the 44th state, when we're going to have the first ever college championship in Georgia on MLK Day. Let's go out to Jonah Nordstrom. Jonah.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm a high school student, and recently, a couple months back, my friend actually put me on to you and Gematria and, in itself. So I'm 17 years old, and this is all so new to me. And I mean, like a couple months ago, I was watching sports and thinking everything's real, and you know what I mean? And now it's just everything, nothing's the same. And I don't know like where to go from here, because I feel like I'm still kind of in the middle, but like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Like, and I just don't know what to do about this, because I'm kind of like, my friend's sending me these home run things, and he's doing all these things, and I'm seeing sports, and I'm like, everything's starting to make sense, and I just don't know where to go from here.
Well, it's a tough spot to be when you're 17, because some people might just start calling you crazy, even though you're not. And then, it's probably not going to help with most of the ladies out there at your age. It's probably not going to help you with a lot of people in your peer group. So it's a challenging thing to be turned on to something like this. What I'd say is, at your age, I think it's important to focus on your happiness. You're in your youth. Don't turn away from the knowledge, but just find the balance in your life and make sure you're not alienating yourself from your friends, is what I would say. Because when I was 17, this isn't what I was doing. My life changed when I was 18, actually, when 9/11 happened. But I still tried to balance my youth and have some fun here and there. And that's what I worry about when younger people come across this, because really I put this work out here for adults. In a way, I don't mind if someone your age finds it, but just don't let it alienate you from your friends, is what I'd say. And since a friend brought it on to you, at least you have him to talk about. But I don't know how the rest of your friend group feels about it. So
Not good. I will say it's such a hard situation to be in, because again, before this, and again, it's not like it's changed my happiness ever, but things were going well. I was watching sports and, talking to ladies, you know what I mean? Like everything was going well. And now everything's just changed from my point of view. And yeah, I get what you're saying. I just don't, it's hard to kind of say like, where's the barrier? What do I do now?
Again, like you said, it recently came into your life. I'm telling you, it's not BS, but I do know how it can alienate you from people, and that's the downside of this. And like I said, when you're still in high school, I think it's important to have your friends and have a good time, because you're not that many years away from where you got to get on the slave grind, and you don't have as much time to spend with your friends because everybody else is on the slave grind. So again, maybe you can still look at it and have a little fun with it, but maybe kind of keep it in your back pocket, and maybe save it for another time. I'd say enjoy your time in high school right now, to be perfectly honest. Other people might not agree with that, but I know what it is to lose your friends and being alienated because you care so much about learning about something like this. And again, you being 17, I think enjoy being 17 right now.
I will say, me and my friend, we might be chipping away almost at some of our friends, because we are seeing these things before the games happen, and we're telling our friends, we're talking about politics, all these things. We're getting into our friends, and it starts to wear them down. It really does, and it almost does feel a little good to know things, and have a broader understanding of what's going on.
Indeed. It's like all things in this world have a good side and a bad side. It's like nothing's perfect. There's two sides to everything. So, I mean, if you're enjoying, it is nice that you have one friend who brought this on to you. But again, it's important to preserve relationships. It's good to have real friends. And sometimes you find out who your real friends are. People are just going to abandon you because you're sharing information in a way that kind of hurts. But find the balance is what I would say. So find the balance.
Thank you so much, dude.
All right. You have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Take care. Yeah, it's tough, man. I do think younger people should enjoy their youth, because you only get it once. What's up, Fox 33?
Hey, Zach. I'm actually a little older than Jonah that just called in, but first of all, I just want to thank you for your work. I don't know why so many people are hating on you in Patreon, but
that always goes on there. My trolls live on Patreon.
I did have a question for you, but first a quick note. I was watching a video the other day about the Declaration of Independence being encoded. There's 6,771 characters in it, 1776 in reverse, and they can be laid out into 111 lines across, going down 61 or 62 times, whatever it was. And I saw yesterday, I think it was, the White Sox record went to 33-11, which kind of lined up with that, because the Freemasons have the triple tau, the 1 and 3, and the 3 and 1. So you might have mentioned that on your notes. I kind of skimmed through it, but I did have a question for you. So I was just wondering, with your opinion, do you think that these murder by numbers, like the police said, if they actually murder most of them, or some guys like David Bowie, he appeared on TV a few days after his supposed death. So I was just wondering, if you think they actually go through with this on most of them, or if some of them who have contributed to the occult, like David Bowie, if they just, kind of do it for publicity or something.
I honestly don't know the answer. I've always wondered a little bit too, but if I had to guess, I think it's a bit of both. I think some of these people do live on, like Michael Jackson and the Dave thing on Larry King, and some of these people are really like some part of some sick blood magic rituals. My speculation.
Right. Okay, well, that was all I had. So just thank you so much.
Hey, by the way, I didn't know that thing about 1776 and the reverse on the Declaration. That was very interesting. So nice research.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
All right, take care. For all the people in the chat saying for me to tell them to show their faces, nobody has to show their face. Why don't you come on here and show your face? I mean, what? No, people can. I respect people's privacy. Just coming on here and speaking. Like the young guy who just came on 17. I like it. That kid's going places. He comes on here. He speaks with confidence. He didn't sound nervous. I'm like, is that kid part of the Nordstrom family? He's balling. Let's go out to Nick Herr. What's up, Nick Herr?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, so yeah, the Monday night game today. So yeah, I saw your video about how it could possibly be related to the election and on November 5th. And I kind of felt some way about that. I was like, maybe, but I mean, like, I wasn't really sure. But after watching the game and seeing that home teams became 11-5, and then I saw the final score 19-32, and I'm like, that's a year, 1932. So I was a little curious, and so I actually asked Siri. I was like, "Hey Siri, who was president in 1932?" And guess what it was? Herbert Hoover.
Yeah, great impression.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man, these people are clowning. Again, the day he died is the day Kamala Harris was born. October.
Yeah, and there's more too. So like the president after Hoover is Franklin Roosevelt, and so I looked him up because I didn't really know much about him, but FDR. So he was the president that dealt with the Great Depression and World War II. And are we not facing an upcoming depression and possibly World War III?
Right, and he brought in Social Security and all these things because, again, a lot of people are so serious and want to keep Social Security, but really, if you think about what Social Security was, it was the government saying that they're your daddy and they need to save your money for you. And it's like I don't need the government to save my money for me. I don't want to pay more taxes to the government so they can save my money and I can have it back when I turn 70 years old. To me, that sounds crazy. But
it is done. I mean, I have I work in corporate America, and I have a 401k, but I'm not really contributing to it because I don't believe that's going to help me in the future, honestly.
It's if your employer does a high percentage match on your 401k, it's not a bad idea, but not all employers do. Like Sweet Lady's employer does 100% match, so whatever she puts in, they match the same amount every month.
Oh, 100%. No, mine's only like 5%. Mine's only like 5%.
Yeah, that's not that great, but it can depend on situation by situation, and it's true with where we're going. Who knows if we're ever even going to get it someday? So it's a case by case basis.
That's what I'm saying. And yeah, but I saw that, and he's a Democrat too. So it's like, and what's worrying me though is like he's the president that served like more than 2 terms, and so since he's a Democrat, I wonder if this game was kind of maybe foreshadowing that Kamala might be the next president. I mean, because San Francisco won, and then literally 1932, the year that Herbert Hoover was the president that year, and she was born the same day that he died. A lot of overlap there, man.
And like I said, the Niners are now plus 123 points scoring against the Jets all time, and they're 12-3 versus the Jets. And we've been documenting all the 123 rituals they've been doing with Kamala that have been undeniable, like her getting the torch passed to her 123 days after Willie Brown's birthday, and then the Chuck Schumer endorsement 123 days after his birthday, and then the Freedom song from Beyonce, and on and on and on. And now this tonight. Again, this is what they're doing, and you're exactly right. I missed that, and you're 1,000,000% correct. We've been talking about the parallel with Kamala and Herbert Hoover, and 1932 was the year. That's exactly what this is. We're showing you guys how they're always paying tribute to history with these rigged leagues, because Rome has been running this country, and the Illuminati types, they get off on the mockery they're doing to us. That's why they gave us the phrase, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And they love how on their nightly news shows, they can go out and interview the streets of America, and no Americans know anything about history. They don't know shit about shit. So, and these are the same people who, when they hear us talking, they're laughing at us and going, "Oh, you sound crazy." And meanwhile, it's because they don't know anything. They think intelligent people are crazy. But
it's annoying. Like, I mean, I knew like a decent amount of history, but ever since I've been like watching you, I've learned a lot more about history. I mean, I probably would have never known about that. Kamala having the same birthday as Hoover's death, and
born the same day he died. Yep.
Yeah, and actually, I told my coworker that today. Like he's like this, like he's a guy working in corporate in his 40s, and he's a huge Trump supporter. Like he's been trying to tell me to vote for Trump, and I've been telling him that I'm not voting in this election because I'm not going to participate in this shit. And I told him that votes don't matter or anything, and he thinks that I'm being all like paranoid and like negative about it. But I'm like, no, man, like just kind of look what's happening. I've been kind of slowly trying to convince him about what's going on, but he's riding the Trump train pretty hard. But then I showed him the whole connection. So I showed him the Hoover prophecy video, and then I showed him Hoover's not Hoover, the 04 prophecy video. And then I showed him the Hoover's death date and Kamala's birthday, and then he was pretty mind blown. Like, so I mean, I think I started at least get him to think a little bit.
Yeah, and that you just keep dropping, little drops in the bucket one day at a time. some people eventually have a breakthrough. And sometimes you do that, though. People will just distance themselves from you because they don't want to have the breakthrough. They don't want to put on the glasses like the fight scene in They Live, for anyone who's never seen that movie. Roddy Piper just wants his friend to put on the glasses one time and just take a look, but he just won't do it. So,
yeah, some people really are afraid of the truth, man. Like it's like they're too plugged in to the matrix, you know, too complacent. So another thing though, so I was listening to you and Joey talk, right? And I heard Joe talking about the James Earl Jones thing. And so you mentioned that 94 is a big number in that, right?
Absolutely.
So you brought up the Mufasa movie. So while you were talking, I just looked at the movie. And so the guy playing Mufasa is this dude. I never heard of him. This guy named Aaron Pierre. And so I saw Aaron. So guess what? On from Aaron Pierre's birthday, June 7th, to basically 9/9, when James Earl Jones died, was 94 days.
Yeah, there it is. It's wicked how they do it, man. It is, and this stuff just goes. I mean, and you know, the nice thing for me that it's 11 years later is when I first started this and I was putting out this information, a lot of people would attack me. They'd be like, well, if this is true, how come nobody else can do it, just you? And I'd be like, well, you guys could do it. Just like emulate what I'm doing. Now there's a lot of people in the world emulating it. And exactly, it's really not that hard to do. You're like, okay, here's the logical connection. Let me check. Oh, wow, look at the way it lines up. The name of the movie's 94. James Earl Jones was Mufasa in the past. Now the new Mufasa actor's birthday's 94 days before he dies. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I looked it up in real time, and I was like, all right, it could be any number. It could be any number, and it had to be 94 days. I was like, are you serious? Like, I don't know how they do this, man.
Here, I'm going to tell you guys a story. Again, Toffelmeyer. This is a dude who used to be in the NFL, and his sister might be out there watching right now, but she's a supporter. She's been in the community for probably close to 10 years. And she tells me this story, and she thinks that it's some kind of black magic. So Joe Toffelmeyer wore 56 for the Seahawks. 56 is a very special number to the Jesuits, and he died on September 27th, the anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by Rome. And she says that day, and notice what age he died at too, 46. He died 82 days after his birthday, which means he would have died on his 83rd day of his age. We know football and murder is 83, 46 is sacrifice. But anyway, she says that he was at home with her and her mother, and he suddenly became very ill and passed almost like just like it seemed like impossibly fast how he just fell ill and died. And she says, Zach, I'm telling you, nobody came around. We didn't poison him. She thinks it's some kind of wicked magic in the universe, and maybe it is. I mean, again, I don't have all the answers, but she shared that story, and if she's telling the truth, I mean, that's her hunch. That's the way it felt to her. And then she didn't understand she found my work, and then she's like, "Oh wow, I'm starting to see like how the Jesuit piece fits in here." So
it might have to be. I mean, it sounds crazy because it's like magic, you know, like, but you know, because I mean, when you look at it from a scientific point of view, it's like how do you just black magic things happen? But you know, like for instance, when you those two things that you always like to talk about on those those 3-2-2 things days you mentioned with like the Steve Nash with getting his nose broken, and then the guy who snapped his leg on the field at the same hash mark. Like,
no.
Is that
It was Devin Booker, right? But
yeah,
that night, Jerry Colangelo, the owner of the Suns, was sitting courtside with his wife, and his wife just happened to be wearing a white t-shirt like this that had a big print of Steve Nash with a broken nose.
I remember that.
Busted right at 3:22 on the clock, and it was just like how Alex Smith got his leg snapped on the same hash mark as Joe Theismann on the 322nd day of the year, with J.J. Watt, born on March 22nd, on top of him. And then Joe Theismann just happened to be there in attendance 33 years to the day, another magic number. And when they interviewed him, he said, yeah, it is weird. And the other creepy thing is he said, I have a nephew named Alex Smith, just like the football player who got his leg snapped that night. So
yeah, that's beyond coincidence. Like that has to be some kind of black magic. Like there's
again,
no way.
3-2-2 for people who don't understand. Look at this. Ancient mystery religions equals 3-2-2. And one of the key ancient mystery religions is Kabbalah, where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from. And Genesis 322 is in the beginning of Genesis, which is the basis of the Abrahamic religions, which equals 322. You have this special secret society, Skull and Bones, that calls itself Order 322. The Georgia Guidestones forecasting death to the world put up on March 22nd, and then they tore them down in the time of the pandemic by the numbers. So, yeah, again, spelling, numbers. I mean, it sounds crazy to us, right? Because we came up in the slave school system and we learned that magic's this dumb old world belief, numerology is this dumb old world superstition, astrology is this dumb old world superstition. But you see that the ruling class is clearly still into this stuff. And here we are, like, we've been indoctrinated. We're told that all this is for our ancient ancestors who didn't know about science. Science is the end all now, but it, again, maybe sorcery is a real thing.
And it's probably demonic, and that's probably why it's only select like a few people. It's a esoteric. Only a few people kind of know how that works, because they wouldn't. In a system we have, they're not gonna just go like start teaching that in schools. All right, here's how to manipulate the world using these occult knowledge and gematria and stuff. Like, they won't ever teach that because they wouldn't even allow it. They'd be like, wow, why are you teaching our kids this demonic stuff? But that's actually the stuff that people use to control the world. So they probably had to hide that away for the super elite, like the people at the top of the Freemasons and the Jesuit order and the Illuminati and other people.
100%. So
Also real quick, Kendrick Lamar being at a Super Bowl. Oh, actually, before I go to that, when I looked at the new voice of Mufasa, so his numbers are 120, 66, 177, and 69. Does anything jump out to you from that?
Can you say it slower?
120, 66, 177, and 69.
Well, the Jesuit order is 177 and 69. Illuminati is 120 and 69. Like Order of Illuminati's, Order of Illuminati's 93 is Age of Death. It was 120, 177, 69, and what was the other one?
Hold on.
It's also the year of the 120th World Series in light of the baseball connection with Field of Dreams. I'm sure that's connected.
Yeah. 120, 66, 177, and 69.
66. That could be a lot of different things, but
yeah,
those three numbers all have to do with the Illuminati and the Jesuits. And for people who don't know, the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, great research. I'm going to take one more, and then I got to wrap it up. I told Sweet Lady I wouldn't go past 10, and it's after 10:30, so she's going to be like, Hubbard, is it after 10? And I'm like, yeah. I'm sorry.
Hey, real quick though. So like, Kendrick Lamar, he was in the halftime show at Super Bowl 56. So is there like any like relation from that to him being in the Super Bowl now that you might know about?
Two things to look into. He performed in Super Bowl 56, which was LA, the 213 area code, winning on 213 over Joe Burrow and the Bengals in the Billy Cannon Bowl. And then Kendrick Lamar put out that music video earlier this year, and Joe Burrow's in it. So something to think about with that.
The Not Like Us video?
Right.
Okay, all right. I haven't watched the video yet, but I'll watch it after this.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's in there, so that's interesting.
That's interesting, actually. Huh? Why would he be in there? Okay.
Remember, you guys, Joe Burrow is Mr. New Orleans, and we did have the Patriots beating the Bengals. We had the number riddle. It was one of the strongest number rituals of the week. We loved that game, and we said even if he goes down, it doesn't mean his season's over because he is Mr. Billy Cannon. He's Mr. New Orleans. LSU Tigers equals 59 like Billy Cannon. Don't forget, you guys, Billy Cannon died on Cannonball Day, right as Joe Burrow transferred from Ohio State to LSU. And again, Billy Cannon was the only LSU player to ever win the Heisman before Joe Burrow. And Billy Cannon won the championship over Clemson and New Orleans like Joe Burrow. And if you guys don't know, I went down to New Orleans right after that happened and educated about all that stuff. And again, that's why we like to get out there and pound payment and share the information, but it takes resources. So thank you to everyone who supports the work. All right, Nick, I gotta get off here pretty soon, but great call. Great research.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks for definitely.
Have a good night. All right, we got Big Money back on the scene. What's up, Big Money?
Zach, what's going on? I'll be very quick. That was me. I'm 908, by the way. I called earlier for the Monday night stream about Jordan Mason. Um, with his numerology at the 62 and his name. And I don't know if anyone had called previously prior because again, I'm in and out of work and stuff, so I can these days I haven't been able to find time to fucking watch your stream start to finish. I just come in and I saw this dude's name today on the roster. I went on FanDuel and I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? And I looked him up, and when I had made the call in, when I saw the info, he was going to get his fifth touchdown, and he had the numbers, the 62, and McCaffrey goes out. I'm just like, this has got to be some satanic bullshit. And I forgot to fucking add earlier in the call that the Church of Satan is located in San Francisco. So I was like, man, this is just some real sick, devilish shit that's going on tonight. And I said, this motherfucker has to score a touchdown. And lo and behold, he scores. I think he scored the first touchdown of the game for the Niners, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Debo Samuel, who switched his number to number 1, scored the first touchdown in week 1.
He scored first, but
Mason
then
got
Jordan,
the second one.
yeah, he got the second one, yeah. But you just watched him like tonight, and of all games, like everything lined up for this dude, and he ran. I think he ran for at least 80 yards. He looked like, even though
He ran for a lot more than 80 yards. No, he had well over 100 yards tonight. No, he
well over
dominated.
100. Yeah, I mean, I don't even pay attention to, like, the end, but I looked at some of his runs, and I'm just like,
They
what
put
are the
up a
odds?
stat in the game that he had 105 yards between the tackles for the 105th season.
And it's such a joke. And when I saw this on FanDuel, I took the bet. I got $800.
Hold up. Somebody, I didn't even look at the box score. Somebody said he had 147 yards, just like Freemason equals 147.
Freemason equals 147.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, and it they just make it too obvious for us. And if people get into this, like, I tell people to join your stream all the time, you'll see how much of a joke this league is.
Look at Aaron Rodgers' passing yards, you guys. 167, the 39th prime. Like, the Jets won their only Super Bowl 16-7, and wasn't that the score at halftime tonight? 16-7.
Yeah, 16-7. Yep. And I mean, you almost have to wonder.
Okay, you guys. Jordan Mason, 28 carries for 147 yards. I mean, read it in weep. Mason, 28. Freemason, 147. Again, Mason's also 62, just like Jordan, like the date numerology. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, and I saw this guy on FanDuel, and I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Hold on. I'm not done yet. Brees Hall for 54 yards. We call him instead of spelling out Jets, I say 54 2 times. 54 forwards and backwards for those Jets, getting beat down in Cali on its birthday on 9-9. And 68 total rushing yards, like their only Super Bowl season was the 68 season.
It was the 68 season, yeah. Like, it's so crazy because last year on Monday night, which happened on 9/11, I think, or close to it, Brees Hall had the 127 yards for buildings 1, 2, and 7. Like, if people really are on this channel and watch every NFL stream, you're gonna see all of this shit is one sick joke. You almost sit back and wonder, like, how do they even pull this off? Who is behind the scenes pulling these strings? Like, how are these, like, the players are in on this. Like, they're getting paid millions of dollars to basically perform a fucking circus act for you. And people think this shit is real. I almost feel bad for these people, but at the same time, I'm so happy I can call them stupid. Because there's no way tonight that if you saw this character named Jordan Mason, you immediately should have thought, okay, yeah, this dude is going to have the game of his life. And lo and behold, he does. And I'm so happy, and I hope the community, like, was able to place their bet. Because Debo scored, Brees Hall scored, and Jordan Mason scored. I'm just happy, that we're all able to collaborate and, provide all this knowledge to each other, to come up big in the end, and win something, for the greater good. So that's all I just wanted to say. Thanks again for all your hard work this week one. We fucking kicked some serious ass, and I'm looking forward to the next 16 weeks of this.
All right. Well, we actually got 17 more weeks, but we
17, yeah.
we keep it up. And then we got the playoffs. All right, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Big money. You have a good night. We got open up back. We'll take one more open up, and then I gotta close it up. What's up, open up?
Yeah, I just wanted to join quickly. I know you got to leave, but I saw 208 was in the chat. He wanted the link because he had a friend with him that was new to the information. So I just wanted that. I don't know if you have time for that. No.
Are we talking about 208 Productions? All right, I dropped the link for 208 Productions. Yeah, they can hop in real quick. Then I got.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
All right. See ya. That's all.
All right. You know what kills me is it's like I'm streaming on 2 channels. I can't get views anymore. We used to be able to have pretty good viewership, but even when the most people we ever had on a live stream at once was after Super Bowl 55. We had approaching 10,000 people in the stream, and really everyone who was on YouTube should have been in our stream. After we just called another future with both teams dead on. But remember what happened? YouTube cut that stream off. Then they struck me, so I couldn't get back on for days. And then it was like the channel was glitching a whole bunch of times after that. It was like YouTube wasn't working right for a number of weeks. That's called punishment for exposing their golden boy, Tommy. Tommy with the 201 passing yards, born 201 years after the country in the Illuminati, married to Giselle, born on the 201st day of the year. Look up that article written by ESPN when he got his 201st career win over the Rams, the 201 team. The road to 201. And again, the reason he got his 201st win over the Rams, who he won his first Super Bowl over, is because look up the history of football. The first forward pass in football history was thrown by the Jesuit University, St. Louis University. And again, the first Jesuit popes, the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. The Jesuit Order 201, Order of Illuminati 201. Aaron Charles Rodgers is one of those 201s as well. Remember the other year when the year that Brady won 0-55? Remember how Matt LaFleur decided to kick a field goal with no time left when that was surely going to lose the game? But the point I was going to make is like people are so attached to celebrity, right? Like if ESPN put me on, imagine if I was a segment on ESPN every day. People would be like about this work. They'd be like, oh shit, he's on ESPN. Oh man, it must be true. That like they sit there and they watch that former and by the way, Indianapolis is the only 201 city in America, but the former kicker for that team, what's his name? The guy that looks like a burnt lobster. He's got like a crew of guys with mullets. They're all going, what? It's just like it's like a show for retards. And even they even talk to you in the beginning. They're like, they got like the retard voice. But anyway, the show's just like it's so dumb. And I've noticed this year when that show's on, I always try, whenever that show ends up in the background, like because I forgot to shut off ESPN, it's just like I got to turn it off as soon as I start hearing it because I feel like I'm getting dumber. But I've noticed this season, like he can't stop talking about taking poops. He's like, oh yeah, like it's time to take a poop. It's either do the poop or get off the toilet. Like, what the fuck is going on with this show? Why are people turned into this? Do you want to learn something? You want to listen to some guy that looks like a burnt lobster talk about the poop he took this morning? It's just, what? All right. What's up, 208 Productions?
Hello. Hey. So I want to know, like, what are some things to tell to get my friend into this? He's not into sports at all. And, how can I break this down in terms of?
Well, you got to meet people where they're at. So what's he into?
What you into, dog? Anime? Fucking.
I'm into MMA, like UFC. Fights.
Like UFC? He's in it. Okay, Dustin Poirier.
Yeah, take it back to UFC 257. That was the last time I did UFC, and we've done a million. I've just been too busy. But here, let's go back to the UFC 257 winner. It was a huge payout. I remember like it was yesterday. Dustin Poirier, big underdog, wins UFC 257. Hold on, where's this fool's full name? Whatever his full name is. Hold on. Dustin Poirier. And again, there's a bunch of examples. Talk to Big Al because he's decoding UFC every weekend and making bank rolls. But there it is, Dustin Glenn Poirier. Big upset in UFC 257.
Can see that? His name equals 257.
What? That's crazy.
And there's 1,000 examples like that. It's just I haven't been doing UFC. Like I said, talk to my man Big L. He's
Like,
paying off his mortgages with
okay.
UFC every weekend.
So
So
wait,
the idea with Gematria is that literally everything that happens in the public space is planned.
and it's like energy harvesting. They get people all worked up over these events. Like, perfect example, the whole Trump thing on July 13th. That was a Saturday when Trump got nearly assassinated, supposedly. In Colorado that night, they had a UFC event. In Colorado, synonymous in the news cycle with Trump back earlier this year when they took him off the ballot on March 8th, I'm pretty sure. Oh my God, there's so many things with 38, but and Rose Namajunas became 14-6 by beating the girl, and she's from Wisconsin. And then like a week later, the Republican National Convention was in Wisconsin, and Trump's birthday is the 14th day of the 6th month, like 14-6.
Yeah.
And this big event was in Colorado on the night of the Trump assassination. Like, just right, like things being coordinated and planned together and mass manipulation.
Absolutely, you're right. We did recently do that UFC Colorado event, and it was just as super scripted. Again, I don't know that every single UFC fight is scripted, but the main events are by the numbers, like every single time.
It's like what Sting said when he performed Mortar by Numbers for the first time, when he said, "This song is about the mass manipulation of the cynical manipulation of a large number of people, something like that." Like, that's what this stuff is. It's cynical manipulation of a large number of people.
Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is.
My buddy has one question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I'm his buddy. My question is like, all right, so boom, it's mass manipulation of a whole bunch of people. To what ends though? Is there a certain end that you believe there is to this mass manipulation?
Yeah, they're controlling us. They're controlling society, and they're benefiting from us. They're living off of us. You know, they got us marching along to an agenda, paying them buku tax dollars that they don't deserve. They're lying to us about what the tax money's being spent on. They're faking wars. They're faking what they're doing with NASA. Again, just think about NASA. They collect $60 million. Supposedly that's NASA's budget. $60 million a day. Half the stuff they give us is total bullshit. $60 million a day, we should be able to clean up the whole West Coast that has massive homeless population. Like we're allowing this stuff to go on. So all these little lies they got going are a million different ways for them to thief from us. You know, they convinced us by destroying the economy 100 years ago that the government needed to save our money for us. That's what they got going on, man. That's what needs to be understood.
Dang. Well, yeah, no, that I feel like that makes a lot of sense. That is bullshit that they spend that much a day and that money's just gone. It doesn't really supply anything or change the world.
What did Donald Rumsfeld say a couple days before 9/11?
The day before 9/11, it was on the front page of the New York Times. The Pentagon had couldn't account for $2 trillion. I mean, and this is back in 2000. Like, I mean, that's just a insane. You can't even comprehend what $2 trillion is. How do you lose $2 trillion?
You picking up what he's doing now?
Yeah.
Oh, we lost $2 trillion, and then the next day, oh my God, the biggest attack ever, like on American soil. Like,
right. That was the other joke. And he said the Pentagon's going to have to become transparent because of this, and then because of 9/11, the next day it became less transparent than ever. More black budget than ever. It's just that's the mockery.
Mockery, yes, that's the word. That's what all this basically is in a way. It's like the old definition of Jesuitism is trickery, which is like laughing at you, tricking, playing behind your back, mocking you, and that's what they do with the news.
It's just like tonight's game, 1932, when the Great Depression started, having to do with money. And here's the team named after the gold rush. Gold is the original form of money. All of these things are little sick jokes.
Yeah. Because he's talking about the 49ers, huh?
Yeah, the Niners. San Francisco, where Kamala Harris is from.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's the debate between Kamala Harris and Trump. And Trump's a big New York guy. it was San Francisco versus New York.
Yeah.
It's like,
Two
you know.
kind of, yeah.
Anyways, thank you,
Here,
Zach.
just remind you guys about this
keep
joke they
going?
did tonight with the 49ers named after the Gold Rush. And remember, the 49ers just hosted the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl. But the Jesuit Order's birthday is August 15th. And when Nixon was the president, August 15th, 71, that's when he announced the end of the Bretton Woods fixed exchange gold standard by suspending the dollar's convertibility to gold. So money, gold, just ongoing rituals. Where tonight's game was Santa Clara, which is a very strong Jesuit outpost in this country, or one of the nation's 27 Jesuit universities is. Again, by knowing history and dates and symbolism, you can see who's the puppeteers of this mockery too. And most people in America don't have a clue.
Yep, and it's just being aware of it every day, like what you talk about with Hermeticism and two types of people. It's like you're aware of it and you try to spread it, and you're not impacted by these things, and you're try to just awaken and enlighten people.
Indeed. Well, hey, to 208's friend, thanks for coming on and asking some questions and thinking about things. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Zach. Hey, hold on. I got to say one thing. This is 208. Eli. I lost my fucking sweatshirt. Actually, my friend stole it. And the book that I bought from you, which I gave to my uncle and never got it back. So
I don't have any of my own copies of my book because I brought about 5 of them out to Seattle last year and somebody made off with them. So I haven't had my own book for a year either.
So where would I buy another one from?
Well, they still sell it on that Amazon place.
Damn. I was going to ask you to autograph this one, but there's no way for that to happen. You don't have none. What if I do? What if I buy it from Amazon, ship it to you, have you autograph it, and you ship it back? What if we do something?
Well, you know what? I still need to come out to University of Idaho and talk about the remember Idaho, you guys on King Charles's 74th birthday, when killing and stabbing equals 74. 2 stories broke that day from opposite coast of the U.S. You had the killings on Kings Road in Idaho on the campus, and then they ended up showing you the killer lived in apartment 201. And then also you had at the Virginia Cavaliers campus, the killing of the football players on that team. And again, Cavaliers are those who fought for King Charles in the English Civil War. But on his 74th birthday, stories of killings on Kings Road and at the Cavaliers campus. I mean, you can't see the symbolism.
Yeah.
So I need to come out. I still need to come out to that campus and talk to the students about that. So
yeah.
Are you near University of Idaho?
I don't know, but I mean, it's in my state. So yes, if you come out here, I'm there. I don't know exactly where it's at off the top of my head.
Okay, I might have to do that because I've been meaning to go out there and talk to those students. And now that a little time's gone by, maybe that people are more open to hearing about it. So
yeah. Okay. Well, yes, let's do that. And I'm sorry for making your stream run late, but thank you. I feel like you actually helped a lot here. So I hope you have a great night.
All right. Yeah. Take care, man. You have a good night. All right. I got to go get scolded by sweet lady. When you live with your sweet lady, you should try to listen to what she asked for. She said to be done by 10, and I'm going to say, oh, my eyes are getting old. It looked like it was 10. It's almost 11 out here. So anyway, thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. Hey, we'll see if we can repeat again in week 2. We set a high bar for week 1, 14-2. We can't do that every week. Well, we're going to aim for that, but it's a tough thing to do. But again, what we teach you how to do is bet small and win big, and be smart with your money, not chase your losses. Again, instead of wasting your money on junk food and crap that you don't need to put in your body that's bringing you closer to death, instead of doing that, learn how to spend $5, turn it into $500 on a little parlay, taking advantage of the National Fixed League. And if you're interested in learning about that, that's what we do on Patreon. The link's always in the description. Thank you again to everyone who supports the work. And thank you to We Call BS Podcast. Number 1, the new number 1 on his jersey, scores the first touchdown in week 1 for his team. Shout out to John Mendoza, who double dipped tonight. Thank you again, John. Thank you again to Starry-Eyed Dreamer. Thank you again to Taryn Olson, who brought it home with the big 5, and Blizzard Pete with the 1. We'll leave it there. Until next time, True Seeker.